Welcome
Sure.
to the 20 Years of Morrowind podcast. Morrowind, as you know, is a shared journey that we took on our own. And today we'll discover one of those journeys. My guest today is Zix, a Skywind lead. Welcome on in.
Hey, Danae, how's it going?
It's going great, thank you. Thank you for accepting my invitation and agreeing to tell us everything about you, Morrowind. We'll start
Yeah,
with that.
absolutely. Thank you for having me here. I love the game, like probably more than this guy outside. So it's
Ooh.
awesome to just talk about it.
Okay. Let's dive right into it. How did the that love story begin?
So I started getting into like gaming in general, like as a kid, and I didn't have anything like crazy growing up. So Morrowind didn't actually like come into like being for me until probably college age. So like around when I was like 20, 21, something like that. I played it and I played all the Elder Scrolls games in backwards order. So Morrowind was I guess the third one I got to, but in reverse.
That's the title.
And
Elder
yeah,
Scrolls 3, you got it right.
yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed that one more so than any of the others. That's kind of how it started.
So how is it coming from Skyrim, then Oblivion, Morrowind? Like, how is it? I started with Morrowind,
Um,
so I'm curious.
yeah, as one of those guys who grew up with, I guess, games that were easier to get into, they sort of had, like modern video games, it's easier to sort of jump in without, having to read a manual, having to browse forums for like, what am I supposed to, like, what are the controls here, Having come from that, it was definitely like there was a bit of shock in going to a game that doesn't really explain anything to you, or some stuff is a little more difficult to understand. And I don't know, having that challenge is definitely a shock, but it was kind of cool. Like I wasn't used to it, so pretty neat.
Yeah, like the tutorial is 2 minutes and then you go through a door and then you're like, where's the quest marker?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, what is it that you enjoy about Morrowind? Apart from that feeling of being utterly lost and abandoned by the game.
Well, that's a good one. Yeah, getting lost is honestly something that I look for in a game. If, I have to think about real life while I'm playing a game, it's probably not the most enjoyable experience. But Morrowind, it has so many cool things. I don't know. It's just so alien. Everything is very different. It's like, you could look at like 10 different RPGs, let's say, and nine of those 10 are going to be, Tolkien-esque, where you've got your men and women, and then you have your gorgeous looking elves that are like bigger than life, and beautiful, and then you have your dwarves, whatever. Morrowind is just so different. Like it's got its elves, but they're all gruff and like disgusting and dirty, and they get things
Or
done. They're not like
ridiculous looking
these.
for Bosmers.
Yeah, that too. Like I don't know. It's got so much character just because it's so different, and I think that is what a lot of the appeal comes from for me.
Do you still play the game?
I do. Yeah, I play it probably too much. I want to say it's maybe I'll go through like a full playthrough, give or take, maybe twice a year at this point. Just because I enjoy it so much. You can play it like 10 different times and you won't do the exact same things every single time. The game is so dense, so it lends itself to playing it multiple times.
Agreed. Like 20 years later, I'm playing the game and I've been playing it for a long time and I find something and I go, that must be from a mod because I've never seen that before. And, check with the
Yeah.
consoles like, no, base game, been there for 20 years, never seen it before. And that's an amazing
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah, exactly. And then, like you mentioned, there's also like the community's so active. It's like even if you do get bored, which is hard to have happen, at least for me, you can go and download a mod, or they have the multiplayer thing now, which is crazy. I love
Mhm.
doing that. Oh my God, I have so many hours logged on that just because it's so much fun.
Yeah, like it's crazy to think that a 20-year-old game that was never intended for multiplayer is multiplayer. Obviously, it's not the same thing as playing ESO. It's a completely different experience. But yeah, you can play with your friends. You have your PvP servers. You have your role playing servers, and it's Morrowind.
Yeah, more of the same, just with your friends.
Pretty
Makes it
much,
super
pretty
fun.
much. There's also Morrowind in VR.
Oh yeah, I did see something like that.
Also a thing, which is
Yeah, that's insane. If only I had, the funds.
one day, one day. So
Yeah.
how do you go from loving Morrowind and playing it so much to Team Skyrim?
That's a pretty good question. I think at one point, I'm don't get me wrong, I like Morrowind, but I'm also a fan of the other Elder Scrolls games. So I played Skyrim quite a bit too. I don't remember what exactly pushed me to joining the team. I've been on it for about 2 years. I think it was a friend of mine who I tried to convince very, very strongly to play Morrowind, and he just refused because it's an old game. Oh, it's difficult to get into. Oh, it's kind of boring, as opposed to your flashy. You've got these crazy games nowadays. That's like,
Clunky animations and
yeah,
yeah.
it's hard to get into Morrowind as an old game. So in I guess an effort to bring it to a wider appeal, I joined the Skywind team, and hopefully we end up finishing it at someday. Man, it's a lot of work, but
Especially
it's
when you're shooting for something like a professional level.
yeah, that's another thing. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of hard work. We're trying to make the best Morrowind, quote unquote, that we can. We're trying to paint the original game in a new light, so we're trying to bring a breath of life into it, while also having a reverence for the original material, because that's where it all comes from. So striking that balance is quite difficult, and yeah, bringing it to more people is kind of my original goal, and it expanded to an obsession at this point. So.
And then I stopped having free time.
Yeah, more or less.
Pretty much. So, what is it you do with Skywind? What do you work on?
Me personally, I do a little bit of everything, minus voice acting, because if you couldn't tell, my voice is not that great. But
so long as you don't listen to yourself, you're fine.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I guess most recently more of like the 3D modeling sort of area. One thing I'm very proud of is Vivek City. The exterior, the exterior tile set is basically a love child between me and the texture artist that I had helping me out, because I really can't do texture work. But yeah, I'm really proud of that. I think it's like a pinnacle of achievement in the project. One, because it's such a huge thing, it's this monumental city basically. Yeah. And it was also one of the first 3D things that I did, actually. I'm very proud of that. And I guess I do a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of difficult things with the creation engine. Like with that whole process, it's crazy just to get like an asset from 3D modeling software to the engine, which is now 10 years old, give or take.
The 10th anniversary was just last year.
Yeah, I guess so. That's when they updated the game and broke everything.
The new Skyrim.
Yeah.
Hey, who knows? Maybe there's going to be a new Morrowind in May. Nah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Let's try to be like realistic and objective. Would we want Bethesda to make a new Morrowind?
If you're asking me specifically, no.
No,
because I think Skywind can do it better, and I think we are doing it pretty well.
That's exactly what I think. Like, first of all, you can still play Morrowind. There's that option. If it's a little too hard on young eyes, then Skywind, as you say, is going to be a great way for younger generations to discover Morrowind. I don't know if it's going to be the same. We'll see.
Yeah, it definitely won't be the same. My goal with helping out with Skywind is to push people towards playing more so. Like, if you're excited for us, darn, we're not out yet, so please go play Morrowind. It's very good.
It's a hoax. The Skywind is a big hoax. It's to make people play Morrowind. So
yeah.
While you're here, how about you go play Morrowind?
Exactly.
It's not, guys. It's a joke. It's a bad one. Skywind is a thing, and it is happening.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of time a lot of time. Trust me.
I trust you. Like I do my own little mods in Morrowind or even collabs with other people, and that feels like a lot of time. And it's nothing like recreating a whole game with a large team. How many people, give or take, are working on the Skywind project?
That's kind of a hard question to answer. At any given time, I mean, at the heart of it, we're a volunteer project. So people come and go, just like any volunteer projects out there, be it, you know, any volunteer project. But it fluctuates. At any given point, we have maybe, I don't know, like 50 to 100 people working on it. It really depends. Like there are small roles, definitely, and there are large roles, definitely, but we're all sort of, on that same line of we're all doing hard work. So trying to give like a round estimate is kind of difficult.
Well,
Yeah,
a
I'd say
bunch of
around
passionate
that
people
number.
are working on Skywind. That's a bunch of,
Yeah,
that many, precise.
yeah, a bunch is a good estimate there.
It was a hard question. Like I don't know that anyone could answer precisely. Anyway, let's go back to Morrowind because you say you played regularly. Do you tend
Oh,
to
yeah.
play the game the same way on each
Uh,
playthrough, or
yeah,
do you
yeah. I
get stuck with
mean,
the same sort of character and you always go for your favorite faction, which is probably Telvanni?
oh, dude, man, Telvanni is pretty great, I must say. That's the thing. I end up falling into like a trap. Like I'll start playing like, oh, I've got hand to hand on this character, but there's also the longsword skill. Like, and that's kind of what I end up falling into. You know, I just do the same thing every time. Go for Telvanni, go for Mage's Guild or whatever. Go make custom spells and like jump around the place. I will say the last time I played, actually, I joined the Lalu faction, and I have a very newfound appreciation for that faction because I went in sort of expecting like it's the Lalu faction, it's not going to be that great, but the quests are actually really well written, and like they're actually kind of interesting if you pay attention to it, which I hadn't done previously. So
Any
yeah.
chance you would have the same experience with the Redoran faction?
Yeah, I did that one a long, long time ago. That's the problem. I don't remember when, so I would have to go back
There you
and
go.
try it again.
Next playthrough sorted. It will be Redoran.
Yeah, there we go. Figured it out.
It is not everybody's favorite faction. People tend
I
to.
Yeah, I think there's some cool things about it. I would have to go back and play it to pinpoint those cool things, but
Well,
there's certainly the appeal.
honorable warriors. No, definitely there is the appeal.
Yeah.
Is there something in Morrowind that cannot really be brought to Skywind?
I'm trying to think here. Blah, 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 blah. Honestly, we're breaking like the Skyrim creation engine is very like when it originally came out, it was very locked in what you could do, and the documentation is,
Sparse?
for lack of a better phrase, very poor.
Okay.
And oftentimes not accurate, especially when they release the creation kit multiple times. Like they had the original one back in 2012, and now they have the special edition one, which is a little different in a way that the old documentation doesn't make sense. So it's difficult to figure things out, but we're figuring out things basically every single day. So it was thought previously impossible to do like the separated armor system, for example. So in Skyrim, you have the single armor slot for Cuirass, and it covers the Greaves slot basically, and Pauldron slots as well. And then you would wear your gloves, and it's the same glove on both hand or gauntlet. We basically broke that barrier like maybe half a year ago. A coding guy on our team figured out how to break it in Creation Kit, and along with me and a couple others who basically went in and ripped apart every armor piece retroactively that we have ever created for the project in order to basically get that armor system that Morrowind had. And that's not to say we still can't do some things in the engine, but I mean, we're breaking limitations every day. So once we
That,
figure
that's
out how to do things.
That's a big thing, actually, because there's this private joke in the modding community, like, yeah, Daggerfall, you had all kinds of clothes and armor, Morrowind, you could choose, Oblivion, nah, Morrowind, less so, Elder Scrolls 6, there's going to be one slot and that's going to be absolutely everything. But oh, that is
Oh
really
yeah.
cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And the other way around, are there things that you're able to bring into Skywind that Morrowind was lacking?
Yeah, probably. Just in terms of, I guess, accessibility, Skyrim is very, very accessible. Um, I don't know what Bethesda's mindset, with making it was, but it's easier to get into. One, there's like quest markers, which granted, we have the option where you can turn that off. We're going to basically give people freedom, which is a good thing. I don't think, allowing a quote unquote baby option is bad if there's the option to turn it off.
Agreed.
Accessibility is good. That's one thing I think that we can bring. Mods can bring that to Morrowind, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not too big into the Morrowind mod, but
That was going to be my next question, actually. If you had done any modding for Oblivion or Morrowind, or if you just straight into the creation kit.
yeah, me personally, I haven't worked with anything prior to Skyrim's creation kit. I haven't. There's like the Fallout modding community. I haven't even done anything with that. That has like even a more modern creation kit with Fallout 4 and whatnot. I have dabbled in trying to look at the construction set just because I want to go in and look at like an original cell for a place so I can more accurately like recreate it in creation kit. But man, oh man, I don't know what it is. I can't look at the construction set without like having an aneurysm. It looks way more difficult to me for some reason.
I don't know. It's yeah. Oh well, you learn to work with it, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's just bottom line. I'm so used to one thing and I can't put the effort into looking at the other thing.
That's fair. I'm sure if I looked at the construction kit, what is it? Creation kit.
Yeah.
Creation kit. I'm sure if I look at it, I'm gonna go, what is that? And there's a lot more things, like in terms of our animations and scripting with compilers. So it's.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a couple things even in Creation Kit I definitely get, like scripting. Oh man, if I were to script something, I would probably break everything. Yikes, that's not my area.
Yeah, we can't know everything. That'd be incredibly boring anyway.
Yeah. Learning is part of the fun. I will say that. I swear, I learned something new about just 3D modeling every single day.
Do you get the opportunity to use those skills in your real life, like work or anything other than modding?
Answering that question bluntly, no.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, my work has absolutely nothing to do with what I currently do.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
That way you have a job and you have a hobby. That's.
Yeah, I think that's one thing, at least for me, having that separation. Like, if I were to be, a professional 3D modeler, which I don't think I have the caliber to do that. But if I were to do that, I would not want to come home and use my free time to then continue to do that. So having that separation, at least for me, is nice.
Sure. I was thinking one thing that Morrowind has that a lot of people love, and you did mention creating spells.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
What did you like about it? What did you like about it?
So when I first played, it was like, oh my god, I can create like a spell that does more damage. Okay, like that's kind of boring. And then as you move along with like multiple playthroughs, your character gets more money to like experiment or whatever. I figured out new things. I'm like, there's so many things I could do. As well as talking to other people, there was like so many people complain about like, oh, I can't fast travel or whatever, and that wasn't a complaint of mine. But somebody who was complaining had like a suggestion where he was like, why don't I just make a jump spell that takes me like halfway across the continent for like basically no magicka? And he did that, and I thought that was so cool. He's just hopping all around. I thought, oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's just something I never thought of. I don't know. The system is so neat.
So if you have a really, really strong jump spell, either you need your slow fall afterward, which is not so much fun because you're falling slowly and that's like that. What you want to do is do a massive jump and then have a 1 second levitation spell that you cast just before you land so you don't die.
Yeah.
Takes practice.
Yeah, I haven't gone that far, admittedly. I use this jump spell to this day, and I still die by accident.
Aim for the water. Aim for the water.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go too far. You're all the way in Soul's time.
Yeah.
Darn.
Or yeah, just not where you were hoping to go. We've talked a little bit about Morrowind and Skyrim. What about Oblivion? What was your impression of it?
If you're looking for like compliments on the game, you're probably looking for the wrong person.
Not looking for anything, just honest opinions.
My honest opinion is that Oblivion is it's definitely my least favorite of any of them. I've played through Skyrim multiple times. I've played through Morrowind many times. I've played through Oblivion, granted 100%, only once. And something about that game, I don't know if it's like the noodly combat or the potato face people, or when I install mods, it crashes every 2 minutes, or what. I just cannot get back into that game. It was okay when I played it, I guess. I don't know. To me, it felt like this awkward middle child between Morrowind, which is a very good like RPG, very grounded, very awesome mechanics, like a lot of freedom, and then Skyrim, which is like more so like an action RPG where you still get some freedoms, but it's honestly just like a hack and slash most times. Oblivion felt like a really awkward middle ground, and I don't know, to me it just felt bad, if I'm being honest.
I can't get into it as much, and definitely not vanilla. Though, if I'm being honest as well, I love Morrowind. I don't know if I can play it vanilla anymore. I'll have to try a vanilla challenge at some point, but I'm so spoiled with mods. Okay, if there's less than 500 mods, I'm like, but what am I gonna do? But that's an extreme case. You mentioned mods. Do you mod your Morrowind as well?
Me personally, I haven't gone too crazy with it. I modded Skyrim like the heck out of it. Like, good lord, I probably lost count on how many things I added to it. But Morrowind, I really only did like what OpenMW, I guess, would add. So I guess some quality of life things that it just has like, it built into it, as well as maybe some accessibility things. But largely it's vanilla with more content. So I installed the Tamriel rebuilt stuff. I love those guys. Oh my god. If like I were to be in any project outside of Skywind.
You want to have your mind blown. I was talking with Gnomi this morning about Tamriel Rebuilt, and I had no idea that Tamriel Rebuilt started before Morrowind was published.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. So I vaguely recall hearing something about this. Something about, I don't know, maybe it's not the same thing, but there were projects even before it that sort of just were on forums and stuff. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but I've heard vaguely some stuff.
Well,
it's awesome how long
when
those guys have been
Bethesda
going.
said, we'll do Morrowind, but it's not Morrowind, because that's, it's the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, but the game itself is not Morrowind, it's Vardenfell. And so as soon as that became common knowledge, they were like, oh, but hang on, if it's called Morrowind, we should do the whole of Morrowind. And so they started talking about it before Morrowind was out. It's like, well, modding community. Really?
Man, that is so cool.
It is super cool.
I wonder if it's the same for like the Skywind guys, because of course there's more Oblivion as well, which is kind of how Skywind was like born, so to speak. The new engine came out. Some people moved on, some people stuck around on the old one. But yeah.
More. How can we get more out of our game? Well, we create it in other engines, we add whole continents, a whole planet, because there's Tamriel Rebuilt, but there's also Planet Tamriel, like they're working together and recreating Skyrim. And
yep, I've also looked at that one. I love that one too. Props to those guys. Very good stuff.
Fueled by passion.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good summarization of all these modding projects.
For
Passion behind everything.
So Morrowind is going to be 20 years old. Where do you think we'll be in 10 years old? So when Morrowind is 30 years old?
When Morrowind is 30 years old, man, I will be beyond 30 years old. I'm not sure, honestly. I think we'll probably have a new Elder Scrolls at that point, hopefully.
10 years? Yeah, let's hope so.
And then maybe, it'll be released 5 different times as well. I'm not sure. Maybe it'll get the Fallout treatment. And I don't mean that in any way aside from Fallout 4 was kind of quickly succeeded with Fallout 76.
Mm.
So it might be the case that, they put a focus on Elder Scrolls for a little while. I think that would be kind of neat if we get, a game and then, have it fully fleshed out with like if they want to include any downloadable content or whatever. And then they move straight into the next one.
Cool.
I think that might be pretty neat. Not sure if that's, a long shot or not, but
We'll talk about it in 10 years' time.
yeah, exactly.
We'll see.
All the speculation.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty amazing because there was that little trailer for the Elder Scrolls 6, and I don't know that in the history of gaming such a short trailer got that much ink printed about it.
Yeah, even to this day, people are like still talking about it, albeit not as like in the open. But people are excited for those games. They're really into them.
Are you
And I am too.
excited? Yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm kind of excited. I'm
Cautiously
I
excited.
don't know. Yeah, cautiously is a good word. They've I'm in general agreement with people that say they've dumbed down the series as it's gone on. I think it's evolved into less of an RPG, more of like an action
more
sort
action,
of.
yeah. So the Elder Scrolls 6 could be like Dark Souls.
Oh Lord, if it is, I'm in a bad spot because I'm not good at that game.
True story, I'm not good at gaming. That's just, I do permadeath with Morrowind. It takes more time to create the character than to play with it. I just die within minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, hopefully we'll see where it goes.
Oh yeah.
If people want to know more about Skywind, where do they look for information?
I think the best place to look is our website. I think it's TESR, Test Renewal, Skywind.
I'll put all of
or
that
something.
in the description, yeah.
Yeah, the absolute best place is linked on our website. It's our Discord. Our Discord is public. You can go, you can see our updates. We try to update like once every week with new stuff, basically, that we're doing. It's a process. So,
Sure.
seeing all that new stuff is pretty cool.
I personally, I like to see the new concept art. It's always interesting.
Yeah.
I like those because you could think, oh, they're just going to take what is in Morrowind and that's it. But I think it's a challenge to, like you said before, like to respect the game Morrowind, then to try and make something out of it rather than just copy into another game. So
yeah,
those are always interesting.
Oh yeah.
What about with a way older game? You've done Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind. Have you gone as far back as Daggerfall?
I have tried to install Daggerfall multiple times. It's never worked 100% for me. I have played Arena actually more so than Daggerfall because for some reason I could get that one to work, whereas Daggerfall I've had some issues. But I'll admit I haven't gone very far in Arena. I've maybe gotten to a town outside of the starting town and then moved back to playing Morrowind or something. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. It took me 3 hours to do the tutorial dungeon, and when I got to town I was like, okay, let's try another one.
Oh boy, fun game.
But I think like I haven't played a lot of Arena, just the 3-hour tutorial. More Daggerfall. It is true that if you go into Daggerfall of thinking that you're gonna play an Elder Scrolls game like Morrowind, even Oblivion or Skyrim, you're gonna be disappointed because it's just not the same thing at all.
Yeah, I think you have to kind of expect that too. I mean, just in comparison to Skyrim and Morrowind, a lot of people who love Skyrim, love to play it, really don't like Morrowind, and it's because I guess it's old. It's also different. I mean, it's different. Arena is different. Daggerfall is different, and I think that's also kind of a strength of the series. Almost, it's a little different every time, which
Yeah.
We could just remake Morrowind, in a different province every single time, same mechanics, everything. It would get kind of tiring.
It'd be boring.
I don't know.
It would be very, very boring, and people would have nothing to argue about on Reddit.
Yeah, I guess.
Discussing which game is the best is a never-ending discussion. So save the internet, keep making different games.
If only to fuel argument. Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned that you play Morrowind on Open Morrowind.
Yeah.
Is that for the stability, the quality of life improve, or the simplicity? Because it's pretty straightforward to install as well.
Yeah, maybe a mix of all that. I don't think I've actually played a vanilla Morrowind since when I originally played it. OpenMW has, it's got the further draw distance, so you're not constantly looking into a plane of white fog, which is really nice. I mean, I like the aesthetics of Morrowind. I like to see it, so having that's super nice. I've honestly used it so much that I don't even know everything that OpenMW adds. Like it's very seamless.
Yes, especially if you don't want to mod it very heavily. Open Morrowind, I think, is better. The vanilla engine also has distant land with mods and blah 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 blah. So it's a thing on both engines. The big thing is that some mods are not going to work on one and are not going to work on the other. Multiplayer is exclusively Open Morrowind because it's a fork of it, and VR and playing on Android even, which is like you can play Morrowind on your phone.
It'll be like Doom you said like 10 years from now. It'll be like Doom. We'll be able to play it on our smart refrigerators. Our smart microwaves. Get ready for that TV dinner and then...
I don't know if I really, really fancy, killing a few porpoise beasts before having dinner.
Yeah, it might make you lose your appetite.
Which is great if you're trying to lose weight, I guess. It's something to think about for the future.
Yeah.
I guess. Man. The Elder Scrolls 3 diet version.
Oh yeah.
Could be a concept. I don't know. Well, people don't steal it. It's our idea. Never.
Yeah.
When you play Morrowind or even Skyrim, do you tend to go for the same race? Like a lot of people go, I always play Argonian. Is that you, or you like to try different characters?
I try to try different things. I think the most recent one in Morrowind specifically I have is an orc. I haven't played an orc before. The racial ability is kind of crazy. Oh man. Like, I don't know. Some of the racial abilities are kind of good compared to others. But yeah, typically, I mean, I'd said it before, I tend to fall into the same trap of kind of doing the same things over and over, and I tend to favor what is, I guess, canonized. So like Morrowind, I tend to play a Dark Elf. Skyrim, I tend to play a Nord.
And Oblivion you don't play.
Oblivion I played once, and it was as an Imperial, so...
There we go. That's fair. That's fair. Can you recall anything specific that happened to you when playing the game that might have been funny or dramatic or both, as it tends to be?
Yeah. So, man, this is gonna be wrapping my memory, so it might take a second here. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead. I can draw the picture. You got off the boat. You're in Sadanin. There's a short blonde elf in front of you.
Oh man, that guy.
People make fun of Fargoth, but deep down, if he wasn't in the game, it wouldn't be Morrowind.
Man, he's such an integral part of the game. Even if he has
really is. He really is.
Even if he has like 20 lines,
I don't know how he got so big, really.
I don't know. He's kind of similar to that the annoying fan or whatever. The adoring fan in Oblivion.
Fan.
Maybe the jokes kind of overlap.
Maybe. Though there are rumors that the adoring fan is in fact a member of the Dark Brotherhood. It's just a cover.
What? What?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure. That's
Maybe I should go back and play Oblivion to figure that out.
There you go. Corrupted you.
One reason to go back.
Do you remember when you played Skyrim, and specifically when you played the Dragonborn DLC? Was it something special going back to Morrowind?
Yeah. So, okay, I'm trying to remember how I played out the games, because Dragonborn didn't come out until after I played Morrowind, I think, which is really weird. So I played Skyrim, I played Oblivion, and then I played Morrowind, and then Dragonborn came out. So I don't think I had gone to Souls Time yet in playing Morrowind. So I think the first time I saw Souls Time was in Dragonborn. Think. So from that perspective, it was really cool to see Souls Time in the past after having played it in the future.
Dun, dun, dun. Could make a movie with that, I'm sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's super cool to see like all the little intricacies that Bethesda had put into Dragonborn are all, they're all precursed in the original. What was it, the Blood Moon DLC? You've got what was it, like the Horker Island, right? You still have that tomb with all the treasure in it. The Dwemer airship, there was a whole quest for it in Morrowind, and then in Skyrim you see it crashed. So like the events between that, you're kind of putting together like, oh, this guy didn't have a really good time flying that thing. And then, what was it? Oh,
there was the last Sill Strider as well.
Yeah, oh my god, that's the saddest thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like suddenly all the elephants in the world are extinct. Like, what do you mean? They were so cool.
True.
So sad.
Especially their mournful song, the Striders. Which leaves us the Elder Scrolls Online. Is that something you've dabbled into, or?
Okay, so funny story. I think it was around the same time when I was deciding whether or not to join the Skywind team. It was, okay, do I, like, it might have been a lull in, like, video games for me to play. Sort of, like, I think, I don't know if I'm unique in that perspective or not, but at a point, like, I just got very bored with video games. Like, I'm kind of bored with video games. I don't know what to do anymore. So it was either A, find a new video game, which the first one that came to my head was Elder Scrolls Online, because I loved Elder Scrolls. I hadn't played it before. And the other thing that came to my mind was let's join Skywind. So I ended up going for that route, but prior to that, I had played, I think it was like a free weekend for Elder Scrolls Online, and I played through however long the tutorial was on some island that they put in that wasn't originally in any of the maps. Like, okay, that's kind of weird. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not a fan of the MMO genre as much, so it didn't really appeal to me outside of, the flavor that it had on top, which was Elder Scrolls. When the Morrowind one released, I hadn't been on the Skywind team at the time, but I had known Morrowind at that point. And I think it was interesting what they did, and it was kind of cool to have like all the callbacks and stuff, but I don't think it was all that great, if you want my opinion. I think that's one difference between like the Dragonborn DLC, for example, and the Morrowind expansion for ESO. You can compare and contrast the two, and where ESO would have like blatant callbacks to things that weren't really necessary, or they're playing to the fan, like rose-colored glasses sort of thing. Satanine is there. Oh my god! Well, does it really make sense? Like, should it even be there at this point?
Exactly the same way.
Yeah. Whereas in Dragonborn, it's like they recognize that they've done it before, and they evolve upon that by, putting it realistically, however many years in the future, 200 or whatever. Which, for Dragonborn, I thought it was really awesome. I thought they played that really, really well. And with ESO, it's kind of like, they go backwards, and they do things that don't make sense, and they turn Vivek into Pepsi Man. It's like, it's just kind of weird. They gave Vivek a gigolo bed. I don't really understand why they gave him like a gigolo bed. Like, he's a god who's transcended like time and space, but he still has to sleep, guys. I don't know. That was so weird to me. There's a couple little things that just didn't line up. I don't know.
They weren't as subtle as they could have been. For me, apart from those, the weirdest thing is that in 3 hours of playing, I had gone from Seydonin, Vivek, Sadrith Mora, and back to Seydonin. And in Morrowind, in 3 hours, you don't do that. Like at level 1, unless you know already, which boat to take. But I ran. Like, I went all around Vardenfell in 3 hours, and that felt so wrong. Because it's supposed to be big, and you're supposed to get lost, and it's not the same. So,
yeah, I can understand where they.
I think if we didn't have such strong feelings about Morrowind in the first place, we probably have thought, oh, that's pretty cool, and look at those mushrooms, or oh, that's Stilvani, wicked. But because we have such a very precise idea of what it's supposed supposed to be like and what it's supposed to feel like.
Oh yeah.
Tough crowd. We are a tough crowd.
Yeah, that's for sure. Everybody who plays Morrowind has some degree of, the rose-colored glasses nostalgia for everything, and it'll depend on the person. Somebody who's never seen it before, yeah, they might, simplify everything to magical mushroom land with the walking lizards and stuff.
Cool, it's pretty even. Like this is quite pretty. But hey, we're going to lose friends if we talk too much about SO. Whether we say good things or bad things, let's be honest.
It exists, and we gotta take it for what it is.
But I mean, we're talking about Morrowind and 20 years old. It is part of the Morrowind legacy.
Yeah, that's for sure. It expanded upon a couple things that were kind of neat.
One thing that it did for us is tell us finally what the names of places and people are supposed to sound like. Because before that we're like Pelagiad, whatever, like so many different ways.
Yeah.
But now when they say it in the Elder Scrolls Online, go, oh, that's how you wanted us to pronounce it.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Oh man. Especially because, like, I don't know, on Skywind, we also have, prior to ESO, we had to think of what the pronunciations would be.
Acting.
Yeah, because we've got voice acting now. And, that's not something we started, like, months ago. That's something we've been doing from the very beginning. So, what was it? Somebody, I think, made up or expanded upon the Dunmeri language. So having to, somebody on the team may or may not have consulted a linguist or something, or I'm not sure, but coming up with pronunciations and where people would use certain language. Yeah, exactly.
I do not envy the voice actors saying there is a Dwemer ruin southwest of Balmora. It is called. My God! After 20 years, when I'm playing the game, it's like go to okay. It's like I'm not even trying.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge.
Man, I'm sure the Project Tamriel or the TR guys, they probably fall under the same, what's that Daedric ruin cell name again? It's like hash cached pap Madash, and it's got 5 S's here.
I think the method was like, okay, take the keyboard, take 4 fingers, close your eyes, and go nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Ashmili bleep bleep, that's perfect. Sounds legit.
Oh my God, that's my favorite one.
It's yeah.
Remember that one.
But that those weird names, that's also part of why Morrowind. Like, it's a very endearing thing. Like, we complain about it, but at the same time, if it was called Big Cave, Green Vale...
Yeah, I love it.
We wouldn't be talking about it right now, so definitely part of it.
There's a very stark contrasting between the Daedric ruins, and then you've got a cave called Milk. I remember that one specifically.
Of course, because it belongs to Lord Milk.
Of course.
It's crazy.
He had the only cow in all of Ardenfell.
Yep. Not sure that's really the lore about it, but you know what? The lore is whatever we make it. Lore. Is that something that is discussed a lot in Skywind? Because there's a lot of murky areas where we don't really know. So.
Yeah, definitely. There's... Like I've said previously, and I mean, like you've also said, everybody sort of has their own experience with Morrowind. So, in addition to what we've seen outside of Morrowind, everybody's going to come up with their own idea of just using the example of the Dwemer, what happened to them? Why do they have ghosts around still? Didn't they all disappear? Why? X, Y, Z. In giving a reverence to the source material with Skywind, we have to consider all those things, as well as the inherent ambiguity that comes with that. So we're not trying to, at least I think, as a team, I'm only one lead, but as a team, I think what we're trying to do is retain a lot of that ambiguity, such that we're
not tell you, we'll tell you, here's how it happened.
Yeah, we're not trying to project what we think happened to the Dwemer, using that example, into some extra journals that we have, or a lot of people, if I remember back from when I searched forums back when I was originally playing, there was a sort of gripe with, the Dwemer disappeared, but their ghosts are still around. So what happened? Well, for a while there, Skywind was like, why not just take the ghosts out? Okay, so that was like the thing going forward, and then I think it was even like a couple months ago or half a year ago or something. We were like, why did we take the ghosts out? We want to leave some of that ambiguity in. So, we put them back in. There's a lot of sort of considerations we have to make with the lore, definitely, and I think it all stems like with having a reverence for the source material. Because at the end of the day, if you don't pay respect to that, then I don't think we're going to garner respect from people that enjoy Morrowind, really.
Well, the people who love Morrowind, they're going to be a tough crowd for them to
Yeah,
say,
well, yeah.
you know what, I've always loved Morrowind, but from now on I'll only play Skywind. Like, if you manage to do that, wow. Yeah.
Well,
To be honest, even
that's
if
the
you
thing,
don't,
too.
wow, because the project in itself is amazing. But for people who have played the game for such a long time, if you can convert them, that will be proof of having understood the game and being able to improve upon it in a different engine.
Yeah, and that's, as far as I have seen, that's a point of contention with Morrowind fans and people who haven't played Morrowind. Like, there's a lot of people that think in one or the other sort of absolute mindset, where it's like, do I play Morrowind now or do I wait for Skywind? Like, which one do I choose? Coke or Pepsi? Well, they're, I think, they're both awesome. Like, go play both. We wouldn't be remaking the thing if we thought Morrowind was a horrible game. Like, we're not doing this out of spite. We're doing it out of love and passion for the original product, which is like never, ever, ever going to be replaced. And I wouldn't expect hardcore fans to ever move to Skywind if they thought, Morrowind was better. So, I mean, that's not a goal of the project. It's not to destroy Morrowind. We're not doing that. It's to build upon it
I
and do
was ready
something
to
different.
click stop the discussion right now, but you reassured me we can talk. But no, definitely, definitely. And again, for people who took a look at Morrowind and were like, my goodness, they're all walking like they got something stuck. Well, let's not go there, but that's the first impression when you go for a game where you have those smooth animation and then you have those clunky animation. You go, no, cannot do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to discovering that. I'll be honest, when I played Dragonborn and when I played SO Morrowind, played it, I enjoyed it somewhat, and I enjoyed it. And then I played Morrowind. It made me want to play Morrowind. And if that's what Skywind does for other people, that's also cool. That works for me.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Definitely. Is there something that you wanted to talk about that we haven't mentioned yet?
I don't know. I've probably gushed about both games a little too much.
I mean, you know what? That's fine. That's fine with me. I'm not keen on the don't play this game, play that one because that one is better. But to express love for both games, that's cool. So no, feel free to do that anytime, for sure. Gushing about Morrowind and Skyrim, that's fine. Even though Morrowind is better.
Morrowind is pretty dang good.
It's pretty good. They all have their own unique flavor. Let's go for that. Thank you so much for talking to me and reminiscing about Morrowind, like talking about the past of Morrowind, the future of Morrowind with Skyrim. That's part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure to be here. It's rarely I get to talk about Morrowind with other people. So.
Well, we can do that anytime. I know lots of people who are happy to talk about Morrowind for hours and hours. And, yeah, but we can definitely do that. Talk to you soon, I guess, about Morrowind, Skywind, the Elder Scrolls, everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Dana.
My pleasure.